All right, take two. We had a little bit of a technical difficulty on the start intro there. No matter at all. So, the third video vlog, we're on our way to work. The headphone mic was a slight improvement, I believe. So, just have the one earbud in, have the hat on, go like that, keep it down a little bit. Hopefully people won't realize I have my self-facing camera on and I'm doing a video vlog, because that's kind of embarrassing. But, you know, it's 2026, baby. Watching the last two video vlogs, I haven't posted any of these yet, so am I still just talking to myself? Nobody knows. But I'm realizing that I need to be more entertaining. I need to get to the point quicker with my thoughts so I don't lose the framework of what I'm even saying. And, you know, just be more engaging for people so they can follow along with the ride, pun intended. So yesterday, first day I talked about forgiveness. Yesterday, I was talking about an incident at work. I kind of recapped the first episode, and then I was talking about an incident at work, which I was reacting to, possibly overreacting to. It was just a minor incident, but it was really bugging me. And it was this higher up in my line of work had come to my local office or, you know, workplace, and he started basically belittling one of my coworkers, who's a sweet girl and, you know, didn't deserve that type of treatment, and was you know, hollering at her type of thing, and then told her after the very first customer of the day, after humiliating her, telling, you know, kind of calling her out, saying like, where is she? Are we open? Are we open for business? And then as soon as the customer leaves, he says, always with a smile. And I just overheard this. I didn't actually witness any of it, but it was within earshot, and the guy's very loud. I've only met the guy twice, and it wasn't like super awesome interaction. But anyways, God, it's kind of cold in this car. I was upset about it, and I made a poster that I showed briefly on the last episode, or vlog, or whatever these things are. And then I brought it into work, and basically it showed like a kind of like a unflattering depiction, parody of this guy, and just kind of my recollection of how he looked with, like, you know, sharp vampire teeth and or like shark teeth, you know, which is how I kind of envisioned him. But it said always with a smile. So, and it was basically how I was going to handle the situation emotionally, and just, you know, to hopefully relieve stress. And another theme with the channel, which is hopefully I can get the name of this channel to be Everything Will Be All Right. Or everything is going to be all right. I think everything will be all right, or everything will be okay. Something along those lines. Everything's going to work out. I'm sure I can get one of those. Anyways, going along with that theme, you know, there was a higher up there. The next day yesterday I came in with those posters, those flyers that I printed off a dozen of them, and I wanted to pass out. And so I brought them in, And I was a little hesitant because I didn't want to upset the girl who the comment was directed at. I didn't want her to be upset because I noticed that she was, you could tell she was, upset about it. So anyways, I bring in the posters, and immediately my temporary manager comes up, and she's starts talking about this guy who was just there, one of the higher up, who was, basically, kind of being diminishing and diminutive towards other people or whatever. However, that's talking down to people. So, anyways, now I'm making this real long-winded. This is not entertaining at all. Let's try to speed it up. So I gave her. He came up. She's like, oh, he wants everyone to have his number. It's right up there on the board. And so I go into my whole spiel about how I met this guy, and I introduced myself. He never introduced himself. And, oh, that's his name. I didn't know. It's good you're bringing him up, because I actually overheard he was made a really good point yesterday, and he said it twice. And so I just made a reminder of that, and I thought we should share the message with everybody. He told my coworker, always with a smile, and I explained to her what happened again, and then I said always with a smile, and he said it twice, and so I knew that he meant it, and I handed her the stack, and I said, can you go check with the girl who this was directed at, and just make sure if she thinks it's cool, we could post them up, or she can do whatever she wants to with them. I just think it's, something that everybody should know about, because it's such a positive message. Always with a smile. We should always do everything with a smile, because that's necessary for business transactions and, just customer service in general. Because we know everyone always does everything with a smile who's successful. Seems like it's like a, obviously it's just not a cool thing. Anyways, so I hand them to her. She goes, and I'm thinking, well, okay, well, I've done my part. Let's see how this goes. And, oh, I love them. They're great. Perfect. It looks just like them. And she comes in and says, oh yeah, you want us to hang these up? And I say, oh yeah, I'll take one, and I put it above where I'm working or whatever. And she does the same thing, and I don't know if they're going to pass them out. I'm going into work today to find out what the fallout is, if there is any. But essentially, it worked out fine, and it worked out, and everything was okay, and everything is going to be okay. Whether or not it affects my job, I already have made my peace with that, and it's really nothing. It's not, this is like job humor, office type humor 101, and I'm not even like an office type person per se. So it's just we need to start living more, man. And hopefully I'm communicating to somebody out there, and they're kind of understanding my vibe and, syncing up with what I'm talking about. But it's basically, I'm grateful for the life that I have. It's taken me a long time to understand that and to get there. But it's like having something is better than having nothing. And I think, that is like a spiritual, nothing, there's no attachments or anything like that. But, as in life in general, having the experience of life, having experiences, as opposed to not having those experiences, I'm taking it as a positive. I'm taking it as a win every single time if I'm having an experience. And I don't think God is, or the universe, or whatever you guys want to equate that with, is going to put anything in my path that is something that I haven't already agreed to take on as a challenge, to test myself and to improve myself. And however you want to parse that out or explain that, like, I still have an interest in how that works, but I'm caring less and less. And the more I think people can, I don't think it's a trivial pursuit to figure out how things work and stuff like that, but the dogmatic approach to it, where everything gets a label and it gets filed away and stuff like that, it's like, and then you're code cracking and syncing up all these different things. I think I will naturally do that, but I'm not trying to make it my focus anymore. I'm trying to focus on healing, I guess. Try to focus on bettering myself in the ways that I see is going to make, me more fulfilled and help the people in my family and my immediate surroundings and stuff like that. That's what I'm focused on. So going deep into a specific conspiracy or this or that, or just I'm more general, basically, generalizing things. I've been through the religion rabbit hole, several times, and I think a lot of religions are beneficial and stuff. I just don't think that it's all encompassing. I don't think you can get everything that you need without having the people that basically have used it and perverted it, without having their influence. Like, I don't think you can go, I don't know. I think there's good people who go to church and stuff like that. But there comes a certain point where it's like, you're a hypocrite like everybody else. You obviously, if you really believe what you believe, you should know that. And a lot of the issues with the churches are, it's so radical, basically. And that's not the way that I want to be radical. I don't want to be, I like pointing out where, like, hypocrisies and stuff like that. That's because it's easy, while being a hypocrite. But also at the same time, not really caring enough to, like, take action against all this stuff. In a way, the only way I'm taking action, like I did with, like, a poster, is something that's kind of harmless. It's just creating an image to kind of reflect back on the situation. Something that I could have blown out of proportion with, like, if I wanted to say, well, you shouldn't talk to that person that way, and that's actually, like, something that should be reported. Then it's like, okay, I'm making an official statement about this person where I think that they should have some sort of, action brought against them for the way they treated this other employee. And then all of a sudden I'm painting a target on my back, and I'm not trying to do anything that's actually going to have, retribution attached to it, or the thought of, any of that. So I'm trying to get something where, if you do feel some sort of way about this thing, if it gets back to this person who it was directed at, I don't think that they have a legitimate gripe to say anything. other than maybe the way that I characterize them. But then we can get into a conversation, and maybe there can be a common ground met at some point. I doubt that this person that I made this poster about is even going to see it, or if they do, if they'll understand it. If they understand it, if they're going to bring it up, if they bring it up, if it's going to be a big deal. I might be overblowing that whole thing. So, and I'm working it up. I really wasn't thinking about this until like right before I got in the car to go to work, because then I started thinking, okay, well, what am I going to talk about today? So now I'm talking about it, and I'm making it, and I'm almost like working myself up a little bit about it. But I should just chill, because it's not a big deal, and I don't really care. And we'll see what happens. But I'm pretty sure everything's going to be just fine. Everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be all right. In fact, I'm pretty damn positive. So I was waiting for my. I have kids, and I was waiting for them to actually make their own cards, thank you cards today, for one of my coworkers who gave them Pokemon cards. I have a new coworker, and after a few days of working with them, we struck up a conversation, they overheard me talking to another coworker about my kids getting into Pokemon, and they said, "Oh, you like Pokemon?" And they brought in, he basically said, "Oh, my son used to be into Pokemon. I can bring in, he's got them all over the place. He's got, 80,000 or something like. It was ridiculous. It was absolutely absurd. And he said he's going to bring in 2 boxes, and I'm thinking, 2 card boxes or maybe 2 shoe boxes, but he brought in like 2 like moving boxes. Like if I had him sitting in front of me, it would take up the whole screen right now. 2 moving boxes. One of them was like loose cards, all Pokemon cards, and I don't know a lot about them. I know that that they're. I started looking into it basically and figured out the whole resurgence and all this kind of stuff, and because I'm like chronically on YouTube, I'm aware of like some of the Pokemon stuff. So anyways, he gave him a whole bunch of awesome stuff, and I still don't know how much it's, if any of it's worth anything. It probably is, but I basically owe him a favor, and I've been meaning to get him some sort of gift card from a restaurant that he likes. So I just haven't made my way out that way yet. But anyways, in the meantime, we've gone through all the cards, and we've played Pokemon. I've played Pokemon with my son a couple times, and he's he's learning to read and write and do, and we're homeschooling and all that kind of stuff. So it was that was the reason why I was even thinking about getting into it in the first place, is, I let them watch, the cartoons that they want to watch, pretty much, unless they're inappropriate. But I was never into Pokemon, but as soon as I saw that the card game had, those skills built into it, that it's, just kind of simple math and a little bit of strategy. So I just said, okay, let's just do it. And he's obsessed with Pokemon, basically. But, he's drawing all the characters. I used to draw a lot. That was like my first real passion is art. And before it was like before it became music, and now that's kind of taken over. But I won't bore you guys with all that jazz. I'll just keep talking about the mundane, everyday stuff. So they were making cards this morning, thank you cards for my coworker, and they were almost done, but I could see that they wanted to do some more sprucing up, so I just said I'll take him in tomorrow because I work 6 days a week, so I will be back on Saturday. Today's Friday, and it'll be a nice end of the week thing. So, getting close to work now. We discovered on the very first video that it takes about 24 minutes to arrive. And I had a bit of a, 30-second, maybe 20-second gap from the beginning when I didn't start immediately. So we're getting close. I'm running out of fuel too because I didn't really have anything in particular that I wanted to talk about today. And I don't. It's a weird thing because I don't want to promote anything on here, and I don't. I just want to talk to people and communicate with people, and I don't even necessarily want to promote myself or who I am or anything like that. If I could get an audience on YouTube and make some money, that would be cool. But this is really just an experiment as of right now, since I haven't even posted any of these, and now I'm here. So my sign off will be, everything is going to be all right.